Hello, YouTube. I've been gone for several days. I kind of needed a break. I was getting burnt out, um, and my job's been extremely busy recently, and so I kind of took a break from uploading to this channel. I made a separate channel for political stuff, political commentary, political news, um, and then I'm going to keep this channel on mainly on Magic. But today I'm actually going to talk briefly about this vintage, and it's going to roll into Magic and vintage Magic. But this Super Mario Brothers NES cartridge, it's still sealed. Um, I guess it sold for over $100,000, $150. This is a new world record for a graded game. It's near mint, still sealed, I believe. There's a picture of the game, Mario Brothers. Brings back memories. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, and that's kind of where I'm gonna lead this commentary, is that a lot of these games, cartridge games, Nintendo, Sony, Sega, even arcade games, and you've had also card games, even if it's just basketball, baseball cards. Those are the more traditional collectibles, but the thing that obviously I target is Magic the Gathering, just because I grew up in the 90s and I love the game. I did play the Game Boy game for Pokemon, but I never really got into I was kind of at that age. I was kind of over the age where you would get into Pokemon. So I played the Game Boy game, but I really did. I had a few cards, but I never truly learned how to play. I kind of just liked the cartoon, and then that kind of faded out because I continued growing up and going into high school, and so that was that. Anyway, back to this article. Sold for over 100 grand. Um, in 1985 through parts of 1986, Nintendo began releasing the NES as part of a test market launch, testing the waters in cities before launching countrywide. This began in New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, before it goes across the entire country. This first print run of NES systems and games was super small, and the games weren't shrink wrapped, but rather sealed with one of two plain black stickers that said Nintendo on them. A matte one in 1985 and a glossy one in 1986. So this is more than just your typical retail game. This is super specific, ultra rare, uh, pre-release sealed game that's also been graded. The $100,000 Super Mario Brothers is sealed with a glossy sticker from 1986. It's the only one known to exist, and it's incredible shape considering there is no shrink wrap to protect it from wear and tear. There are 11 total box variants of the original Super Mario Brothers on NES, not even counting cartridge manual variants or the combo cartridge with Duck Hunt. I remember Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet. Yeah, we had the running pad as well when I was growing up. So who would buy this? Okay, here's another point I want to make in this video. People that grew up in the 80s and the 90s and played games, whether they were card games or video games or whatever kind of games, they now have jobs, full-time jobs. They've grown up, they got an education. Most of them are probably pretty smart. I mean, most people that play at least Magic, I mean, they tend to be, the programming IT type. Not across the board. I'm kind of generalizing here, but they're pretty smart people. And they got good jobs. They became programmers, they became engineers, and they have disposable income. And if they want to spend some money, throw some money around to enjoy some of that nostalgia from growing up in the 80s and 90s, whether it be Nintendo games or Magic the Gathering, or whatever game they play. What maybe it was Pokemon. I think you're going to see more of this. I only see this asset class in terms of vintage gaming. I only see this asset class going up in the long term. I don't see it going down because nobody's going to be investing in, you know, PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 or whatever. I mean, this was a single point in time. This was what's it called? An epoch or the zeitgeist. What's it called when something is the beginning? The inception of a new era. I guess that's the beginning of a new era. The console era, video game console era. And you could say Atari, stuff like that. But, with Magic the Gathering, it's any of the old sealed stuff. It's going to continue to go up in value. The only question is, how much will it go up in value? Is it just going to be 5% per year? Then you got to take into account, well, I'm going to be selling this stuff on eBay or through something where there's a percentage that's going to get taken off the top for selling fees and things like that and taxes. And so is it even worth it? But some things like if you have a sealed beta starter deck, uh, I mean, those things, like the cheapest I've seen it go for is like $8,500. And the prices of those things are just going to go up as the underlying cards within those sealed products continues to go up. It's like a mortgage-backed security or any type of thing, bundled security. You got to look at the underlying assets in it, and with things like the reserve list. Of course, I talk from Magic perspective just because that's where my interests lie. I mean, I enjoy Nintendo, but it's not something I'm passionate about. I enjoy Magic more than any other game, just for the artwork. It was originally just the artwork that drew me to the game, but I enjoy all the this video is going to get longer than I intended. I originally just wanted to say, hey, check out this NES. For those of you that hadn't seen this in the news, check out this NES game that just sold for over $100,000. But I was going to kind of parlay that into how other games like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, uh, any other vintage game of the 80s and 90s is going to appreciate in value. It's becoming a very sought after collectible. But now I'm kind of getting sidetracked here, which I didn't want to do. Anyway, it's good to be back. I guess I should cut it short there. I'll ramble more about MTG Finance later. I will continue making some of the 4th edition Chandelar games that I've been making on this channel, and I'm also going to try to get a hold of the Legends expansion set and also Duels of the Planeswalkers 1998, I believe. I had that game when I was a kid. I played it on computer, but it also includes other sets of Magic. So right now I've been playing the original Chandelar game that just contains the 2004 core set and some of the Power 9 just for fun, but I never play with the Power 9 just because it's no fun. It's ridiculously overpowering. Yeah, I'm getting way off base here, but I don't know. Maybe I'll title this a rambling video, and you just have to listen to both of my viewers. Will just have to sit back and relax and listen to it. So I thought this was neat. It bodes well for just vintage gaming as a whole. I see that asset class. If you're going to invest in something and you don't want to invest in the stock market, you don't want to invest in gold or Bitcoin, or you don't have your own little side project or asset class that you know of that you want to invest in. Vintage gaming, I never see it going down. I never see the prices of some of these vintage things, any vintage gaming product, going down in the long term.